So we're waiting for the jury to be selected in the Lindsay Clancy case. And while we're waiting, a lot of people are bringing up the name. So let's have a conversation about Andrea Yates. It was 25 years ago. In fact, it was on June 20th of 2001 when Andrea Yates drowned her 5 children in a bathtub inside the family's home. Now, this is only a surface retelling. If you want to go back and do a deep dive into this case, it's very fascinating. And I remember 25 years ago feeling remarkably different about Andrea Yates than I do about Lindsay Clancy. And I think I've matured as a woman and I have much greater understanding for mental health issues now than I ever did then. But here's what happened. So her 5 children, Noah, John, Paul, Luke, and Mary, I think you see the theme, ages 7, 5, 3, 2, and 6 months. Were all drowned in the family's bathtub. The original trial was in 2002, and she was originally found guilty and sentenced to life in prison. Now that decision was thrown out, and she was given a new trial by an appeals court due to the erroneous testimony of a prosecution medical expert. And I just want to say, 25 years ago, there probably weren't as many experts, and we didn't know what we didn't know. I think there's going to be a lot more people that can speak coherently about Lindsay's symptoms and what Lindsay is going through, because we've had 25 years to study this. Now, I'm also a big assumption that we care enough about women's health that somebody's actually been fucking studying it. I don't know that they have been, but we'll find out when we get to trial. During her second trial, she was found not guilty by reason of insanity. She was labeled insane when she drowned her 5 children in the bathtub, and she was acquitted of capital murder. This took place in Texas, by the way. It took the jury 13 hours of deliberation over 3 days to reach this conclusion. The jury was made up of 6 men and 6 women. So I know there's been a lot of conversation in the comments about how men don't understand this illness and that men aren't a fair judge of this. Her jury had 6 men on it. And I think the foreman was a man. And this is a direct quote from him. Quote, "She needs help. I think she'll probably need treatment for the rest of her life." I can't recall why she was only charged in 3 of the deaths. She was charged in Noah and John's deaths, which were the 2 oldest children, and the baby Mary. I remember one of the older boys, and this might have led to the different charges, the older boys, one of them got away. Like, as this is going on, he realizes, oh shit, mom's not in her right mind. And he gets up and he runs out of the room. And I remember that it came up in court that she got up and chased that child down and brought him back. And even though he was kicking and screaming and hitting her and kicking her and begging for his life, she wrestled him into the bathtub and drowned him. I've never experienced a psychotic break. But for me, I kind of at the time likened it a little bit to like sleepwalking. Like, you're doing things, you don't really know what you're doing. And I thought, when your child is hitting you and kicking you and begging and screaming, wouldn't that cause you to snap out of it? Andrea Yates believed it was God telling her to kill Noah and John and Paul and Luke and Mary, that it was her God commanding her to do so. And so she did so. A lot of people have been coming into the comments and saying, yeah, she's in jail for the rest of her life and that's where Lindsay belongs. But that's not true. Andrea Yates was committed to a state mental health facility, Kerrville State Hospital in Texas, where she receives ongoing psychiatric care. She is eligible for annual release hearings. So every year she comes up for a hearing. She's eligible to go and speak to almost like a parole board to see if she should be eligible to leave the hospital, but she consistently waives her rights to them, choosing to remain at the facility. In my opinion, this would be the best possible outcome for Lindsay, where a jury decides that she's not criminally responsible for what she's done. She was severely over-medicated, and then they commit her, she's committed to a hospital for the rest of her life. She can remain at Tewksbury Hospital, where she is now, and continue to get the care she needs for what may end up being the rest of her life. For those of you worried that she'll walk free, that's not even an option. She's admitted to what she's done. There is no doubt that she did this to her children. The argument is whether or not she is criminally responsible for doing it. So this isn't a yes, no, this is a why, right? And I know some of you just, the ugliness astounds me. And I know a lot of other commenters are complaining that it's men who just don't understand postpartum, but I'm also seeing it come from women who don't give a shit about other women. And I gotta say, grosses me out. You might wanna stay off my page for the next 6 to 8 weeks because I don't wanna have to block you for being idiotic. Anyway, we are back today for the third full day of jury selection. There should be a jury hopefully selected by the end of the day with the 6 alternates. We already have 12. All we need is 6 more. That could very well happen today. If everything goes correctly, we will return tomorrow, full day of court for opening arguments. Now, this is supposed to be televised. So once we get to that point, it is supposed to be televised. Usually Court TV is live in the room among many others. You couldn't stream that on YouTube. That's what I do. I just go over to YouTube and I find a live feed and that's how I watch it. So get ready. It seems like this trial will start in earnest, possibly tomorrow.